Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted as always to be joined by Paul Kelly. We have just seen Naoya Inoue stay undefeated and stop late replacement opponent JOON Kim inside 4 rounds in Tokyo, Japan. If you enjoyed this video, please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Let us know your thoughts on the fight as well. Paul, good to be joined by you as always on this lovely Friday morning. Still just about Friday morning. Appreciate you joining me. I know it's been had some yeah, a few knockdowns in Belfast, and we but not as many knockdowns we've seen in Tokyo this morning. But yeah, appreciate you joining me. Give us your instant reaction to that fight. What did you think?
Yeah, mate, thanks for having me on as always. I think I said to you, didn't I? Text you halfway through and said, I've actually been impressed with Kim so far. That was after what, 3 rounds or so. I thought, do you know what? I mean, he's not winning the fight. He's not going to win the fight, but I was like, he's actually done quite well. I think a lot of people did think he was going to get blown away within a matter of even arguably even the first round. I know I thought it would maybe be over in two or three. Um, but yeah, I think he did that. I think Inoue knew that he could probably end the fight whenever he wanted. I don't know if that. I think that's kind of what the way I see it. I think first round, barely anyone threw a punch. Then he started to put his foot on the gas a little bit in Inoue in the second half. What I would say is, I think because he was almost complacent in a way, throwing these wild looping shots that we don't really normally see Inoue doing that because he probably knew that um there wasn't a lot coming back the other way in a sense. So he did get clipped a few times. Kim showed some balls as well, I think. But in the fourth round, it was his own fault that he got stopped, in my opinion, because he was just goading and Inoue and egging him on. It looked like Inoue landed a good few shots in a sequence, and Kim was like, "Bring it on. That's fine. Is that all you got?" kind of thing. And you just don't do that against Naoya Inoue, do you? And within what 20 seconds, the fight was over. So yeah, I mean, I hope he got well paid for it, Kim. He saved the show, I suppose, after it getting postponed from Christmas Eve to now with Sam Goodman and then the injury again. So yeah, I think what we expected, we probably even got a round or two more than we maybe expected to get. But yeah, I mean, you look at that and you think, can anyone beat Naoya Inoue at super bantamweight? I, I'm not so sure. I'm not too sure. Gushing for another video, but yeah, I mean, I'm impressed by Inoue again, but I would say maybe he's a wee bit more reckless than he usually is.
Yeah, for sure. Like Inoue, it wasn't his best performance, but it kind of didn't need to be. He threw a few wild shots in there, which he kind of didn't need to. A few wild shots that kind of missed by some distance. So I felt like today, if I'm honest, it was a bit of a non-event. I think we all kind of knew what was going to happen. We all knew that Inoue didn't need to be at his best. It was just a case of Inoue now, who was obviously supposed to be out this time last month. Was supposed to be fighting some and was supposed to be fighting somebody else today. There was a chance for him to kind of, it was a chance for him to kind of get back out there ahead of what's going to be a busy 2025 for him. Did you? It was only going one way, wasn't it? What was your like? At the end of kind of say round two, round three, Paul, if I'd messaged you saying, what do you think is going to happen here? Do you think you would have kind of said around round four, or could you have seen the fight going on for another couple of rounds?
Well, I think it was clear that Inoue was going to win the fight, and he was going to win it via stoppage. If you had have said to me after its second or third round, right, what's your prediction now? I probably would have guessed a little bit later, if I'm being 100% honest. I probably would have gone for maybe six, seven, eight Inoue, that kind of, and maybe even just into the second half of the fight, just the way it was going. But then, yeah, the fourth round, I mean, he kind of turned it up again. He turned up the heat again. Tim was asking for it. And he's like, right, okay, you're making a big mistake here, kid. And yeah, I mean, as soon as Inoue lands flush on your chin, you're going down. Let's be honest. I think he showed, as I said, he showed some balls, Kim. He did take a few licks, and seemed to take them pretty well. But you just do not invite Inoue onto you. I mean, it's easier said than done. Fighting on the back foot against Inoue with your back on the ropes is not a good idea. Equally, it's probably not a good idea going forward and trying to push Inoue back either because he'll walk you onto something. But yeah, I think I was impressed for in the whole grand scheme of things, given as you said the postponements and everything. I was impressed by Kim for what 9 minutes maybe. Um, but yeah, ultimately, mate, I think you would probably agree. It was only going one way, and even though it maybe went a little bit longer. I think that there was always going to be a stoppage at some stage in the fight.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's one of those where if you're Kim, do you want to? You don't get paid more the more rounds you do. Um, so I just think it's a case of what do you want? Do you want to kind of keep going this way, or do you want to I don't want to say quit, but just kind of call it an earlier night and just kind of save yourself for more nights ahead. Got one more question for you, Paul, before I let you go. With Inoue now, if you look at kind of his year last year, obviously had that fight against Lewis Neary, which was a really entertaining fight. The fight against Tapales, which was a unification fight, but again, kind of a fight he was expected to win. Then fought TJ Dehenny towards the end of the year in September. Where are you at with kind of? Are you still excited to watch Inoue fights? Because I feel like he's not had massive kind of super fights yet. Um, those fights could happen at featherweight. That fight could happen against Nakatani. Are you still as excited about watching Inoue? Just and the reason I'm asking this is because it feels like the vast majority of fights he's in, he's a very strong favorite. We all know he's going to win. We all know he's going to win by stoppage. Is the excitement still there for Inoue?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think when you look at it, maybe on paper, his last few, um, yeah, but then it is, he's going to be one-sided. Even if you put him in there with, for example, Akhmadaliev, who's probably one of the only names left to beat at that at super bantamweight. Even though Akhmadaliev's a world-class fighter and is probably capable of beating Inoue in some people's eyes, like Inoue is still going to be a massive, massive, like what, 10-1 on favorite or something like that. Ridiculous. It's just testament to how good he is. In terms of kind of interest, I think I'm going to be more interested now going forward because it seems that we are hopefully going to get that Akhmadaliev one, a potential Nakatani fight. Then if he moves up to feather, then I think there'll be a lot more interest again in a new fight because people can he really do it up at featherweight as well? Because as we know, some of those champions at featherweight are 6 foot plus. Could you imagine Espinoza and Inoue across the ring at each other? It would be very, very strange and odd to see. But yeah, those fights could happen. I hope they do happen. So in terms of interest, I do get what you mean. Maybe kind of going through the motions, we know what's going to happen. But yeah, I think now is the time that we're going to see Inoue have those big, big fights.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, Paul. We'll leave it there. Naoya Inoue marches on to 29-0, 26 stoppages, and we will see what happens next. Paul, thank you very much for your time. I'll speak to you again soon.
Cheers, mate. All the best.